bow, bow. Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is the Apostate Prophet. Hope everybody is having a fantastic little day, or a fantastic big day, whatever you want to call it. In any case, hope you're having a fantastic day. Wish everybody a good morning and a good evening and a good afternoon, except to those for whom it is the same all day long because they're somewhere in the northern parts of Norway or something. I don't know. So, how's everybody doing? David, what's up, man? How are you doing?
Oh, what's up? Sending out the link. We are live discussing Iran and humiliating the dumb Ayatollah.
What's up? So, yeah. So, I have been interestingly stressed and have been just continuously following all the news and updates. Haven't really slept very much. It's kind of funny, it's kind of exciting though. I like the state of mind, although it hurts. But I'm kind of just following whatever is happening over there in Iran and Israel, and then going to sleep, and then waking up very early in the morning and listening to things. Then hanging out in spaces all day long and watching live cameras in Israel all day long and so on. But there is a lot of stuff going on. So much to talk about. So many voices, so many things that are being said, so many things that are being done, so much possible involvement from our president and king Donald Trump the first. What
no
have
kings.
We have a king, man.
No kings.
I want him as king. He should be our first king. David, what's up? What do you know about what's happening so far?
Well, we've been following things for a while. So what is it like? It's like 2,600 years straight. The Persians have their king, and then eventually, in the 1970s, the mullahs pushed them out. Get out of here with your king. We don't want a king. We want a theocracy. So they got a theocracy. And turns out it sucks, especially when your theocracy is built around Satan. And Satan is the god of your theocracy. But anyway, so they've been dealing with that for a while. And turns out the people really, really don't like it. We've had discussions with Armin Davabi and so on. But guys, the situation in Iran is you have the population which hates the leaders. The leaders have lost all the support of the people except the most radical of the extremists. That's the only support they have left from the population are the extremely radical 12er Shias, which is why, if you wonder why the leaders have to crack down on women not wearing hijabs and they have to go and just brutally oppress them and lock them up and rape them and torture them and so on. Why do they have to do that? Because if they don't, they lose the support of the only remaining group that supports them, which are the extreme hardliners, right? So They have to maintain, they have to keep cracking down, but the more they crack down, the more the population hates them. But they can't not crack down because they only have support. They only have the support of one group, and they will lose the support of that group. And then they'll have zero support, right? So they have to be a brutal regime, brutal towards their own people, and the people hate them for it. And the people have been looking for something to destabilize the government and give them an opportunity to take their nation back. And Israel has been bombing the crap out of their leaders and so on. And that's why you see graffiti, and that's why you see Iranians cheering for Israel in all of this. They want the government weakened enough to where they can either get a democracy or get their exiled royal family back.
Pretty much. That was pretty much what's been happening. So, for about 2,500 years or more, I think, or less, the Iranians had monarchies. They had kings. They had shahs.
No kings.
And then in the 1970s, the Islamists came along and said, "All right, we are done with this." So 1979, the Islamic Revolution happened. So the Islamic Revolution was something to be proud of for Islamists because it put an end to thousands of years of Iranian culture and Iranian monarchy, and started turning this nation into an Islamic, in a full-blown Islamic nation. Before that, I mean, Iranians were Muslims, most of them. They were converted to Islam, but they still never really let go of their culture of being under a monarchy. And the Islamic Revolution turned things around in a very, very bad way. The issue is also that at the time when the Islamic Revolution first happened, there was a lot of support for the Islamic Revolution. There was lots of support even from people who actually liked the Shah, or who liked monarchy, who liked the government, the previous government, because people thought, okay, it's going to be going into a new direction. It's going to be democracy. This is just the future. We're going to, have our own elections, and whatever the people want is going to happen, and all that. But their dreams were very, very, very quickly crushed by the Islamists, who took advantage of everyone's effort and everyone's trust, and immediately, with the start of the leftists, took all the power, and as soon as they had the power, started eliminating all those that helped them fulfill the revolution. The communists and the socialists were the primary ones that were on their side, that led the revolution with them. And what did they do? As soon as they took power, they gathered the socialists and the communists and started executing them and torturing them, or exiling them, and so on. They brutally murdered thousands of them, and
Hey,
many others fled.
hey, little side note, isn't it interesting? So hang on, AP. You're saying that the mullahs who wanted to establish a theocracy wanted to take over. They aligned with the leftists, the extreme leftists, who also wanted to take over. And hey, we all want to destroy the current leadership and take over. So why don't we work together on this? Let's be best buddies in the world. And some people would look at that going, you, apart from wanting the destruction of the current leadership, you guys have completely, utterly, totally different agendas in mind. Why would you be working together? And they were both thinking, we'll worry about that in the future. And you're saying that once they actually succeeded, ousted and exiled the monarchy, then the mullahs said, hey, all you leftists who helped us rise to power and take out the regime, now you're all dead.
Yep.
Huh. Well, fortunately, nothing like that could ever happen again.
The funny thing is that the leftists, the socialists and communists, they were kind of they did get suspicious, and they weren't really very fond of the Islamists. So as the revolution became, as the revolution was, it seemed more and more promising and successful, they did make efforts to somehow organize and quickly make sure that they have enough stability and power among themselves to stop the Islamists from taking it all over. But it didn't work out. This is what happens. You can't work with the Islamists. You can't give them power and then trust that you will just leave it to when the day comes and then fix the situation. No, when that day comes, it's going to be too late. That's what happened to the socialists, to the communists. They were then brutally massacred. They had people who actively were on their sides in the revolution. They took the socialists, they took the communists, they put them on arbitrary trials, and they executed them one by one. As every revolution always does, it ends in bloodbaths, in rivers of blood. And the Islamists made sure, because as much as the socialists and the communists were trying to think ahead and thought they were smart and thought, okay, we have to be quick, the Islamists also thought, okay, we have to be quick because we are the only ones who can legitimately rule this nation. The other ones are just useful idiots. Once we have the power, we have to kill them.
Well, AP, there is a silver lining around this dark cloud. It's that after that, all future generations of leftists learned their lesson not to align with a bunch of people screaming for how they want Sharia and want to destroy the current governments and so on. They learned not to align with the Muslims who will gladly exterminate them the moment they actually seize control. Leftists are very, very smart, AP. And they look back at that and say, hey, us leftists really tried to help these guys seize power, and then what did they do? They exterminated us. Let's not do that again. So fortunately, we don't have to worry about that ever happening again.
Unfortunately, that's not what happened, except for inside Iran, except the secular Iranians. They concluded by now that none of them wants to have anything at all to do with Islam. So I guess there is a silver lining there, if there is actually one. People despise Islam now. They despise political Islam. Iranians really don't want anything to do with political Islam from now on, because they have seen what it did to them. Unfortunately, we can't say the same thing about all the leftist idiots around the world, especially those in the West. They still think they're still in the pre-Iran phase. They still think, oh yeah, we're just, we're marginalized. We're marginalized. We got to help each other. Stupid, absolutely stupid. Which reminds me of the first clip to watch. Have you seen that that Welsh nurse speaking to the Egyptian police? We talked about it briefly last time, but we didn't really watch the video.
No one can understand a Welsh accent, so we won't understand her.
They beat me in the desert. That's what he said. So here goes.
والله يمشي معاكم شي حاجه كنحبوكم هذا هو المشكل كنحبوكم ولكن ما بغيناش نديروا شي حاجه معاكم.
They are hearing me. This man is wearing a Palestinian ring. They are all Muslim.
Why does he say Palestinian? Why is he saying Palestinian? It's not Palestinian.
Not Edward E. Newman.
والشجاعة والشهامة والأطفال.
I tried to feed these children and they shot at me.
الأطفال تجوع حتى الموت.
For love, for humanity, for Islam. Stand with your Islamic peoples.
Stand with the Islamic peoples. The Ummah has always been united. For 14 centuries, the Ummah has been completely united, and you guys haven't been just completely massacring each other for 14 centuries.
Wait, I like this angle better. Wait.
Where is your heart? I believe that the people of the Arabic nations have a white heart.
Dude, no one, let me repeat, no one will ever take you seriously with that haircut and that accent. The combination of that haircut and that accent.
I believe the Arabic
haircut
have a white heart. Is he saying white heart? It's kind of a weird thing to say, you know.
Yeah, why is the heart got to be white? Racist.
Yeah.
Racist.
I believe you are good people. They are starving children.
والشجاعة والشهامة والأطفال.
I tried to feed these children and they shot at me.
الأطفال تجوع حتى الموت.
I find it so funny how these Egyptian dudes just really don't care. It's like, can you please shut up, man?
For love, for humanity, for Islam. Stand with your Islamic peoples. Please stand with your Islamic brothers and sisters.
Please.
Stand with your Islamic brothers and sisters. Dude, this is so embarrassing. This is so cringeworthy. This is so embarrassingly stupid. Who in the world is going to be convinced by this? Who in the world is going to be changed by this? I mean, look, I said it the other day. I don't like saying it, but this is the one trait that some people, some Western people, show when they come and try to act like they are the saviors of humanity, and they have to tell these stupid, uncivilized Middle Eastern people how to be, how to show compassion for their fellow Middle Eastern people who are poor and innocent and all good and all that. What an idiot, man! This is so retarded.
Where is your love for the Ummah, Muhammad?
I believe I have a white heart.
إخوانكم المسلمين يذبحوا.
Then he says Islamic.
He welcomed me into their heart. I paid to go there as a nurse. They beat me in the desert.
Dude, they beat me in the desert needs to be on your soundboard.
I know. I have been saying to myself, they beat me in the desert all day long.
That needs to be a saying. What happened to you, man? Where you been? They beat me in the desert.
Beat me in the desert. I've been saying it to my wife since yesterday. I'm just saying it to her randomly. They beat me in the desert. He thinks he's Jesus or something, man. What is this? Like, he's describing himself as like...
Paid to go there as a nurse. They beat me in the desert.
They beat me in the desert.
You could spend this entire live stream just replaying "They beat me in the desert," and I would sit here for 2.5 hours.
I was thinking about that, actually.
Feeding starving Islamic children.
Islamic children. You know, it's not going to change anybody's mind when you just attach the word Islamic to it.
Hey, wait a minute. Can I put something on the screen? Hold up. It says present.
Howdy. It's not going to change anybody's mind if you just say Islamic. It's not going to do anything. It ain't going to do nothing. Don't try it. Don't try it. Islam for Islam. Please. These are Islamic children. They beat me in the desert.
يحكي للناس في أوروبا إنه أجا عشان يدافع عن الأطفال والمسلمين.
Where is your qalb? Where is your heart?
He said, where is your qalb? He's trying to speak Arabic now. He's saying, where is your heart in Arabic and then in English. Why are we doing this? What's the point of this exactly? Are you trying to, is he trying to display his skills in speaking their savage language or something? I don't really understand. Look, I can even speak a savage language. Where is your qalb? Where is your heart?
وين الإنسانية اللي بتدافع
For the love of life and for the love of humanity.
وين الإنسانية التي تجمعنا العروبة الإسلام.
They're babies and women. The women are trying to feed their dying babies and their breasts are empty. Do you know what that smells like?
First off, I really wonder what how he... Do you know what that smells like? Are you freaking serious, man? There is no situation at all in Gaza where babies are actually starving to death.
Hey, it worked.
What the heck? It worked? What is this?
You see, I was able to put something out there. Oh, that's what that dude reminds me of. Howdy Doody.
Oh, yeah.
I was saying the dude reminds me of Howdy Doody.
Wait, he looks exactly like this, man.
He looks like it looks like this was modeled after him, but this was from a long time ago.
Look at this. Look.
Well,
wait. Same face.
Same hair.
Same hair too, yeah. Wow. This is interesting, man.
Mm-hmm. Huh. All right, that's all I wanted to prove.
Oh, good, thank you. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. So there is no situation at all in Gaza where babies are actually starving to death. There's nothing like this where babies actually are starving and where the mothers don't have breast milk that they can give their babies. Okay, this is like I don't know. I kind of looked it up and asked around a little bit. It's like it has to lead to like there have to be extreme levels of starvation in order for a mother who is still breastfeeding to actually come to such a situation where she no longer has any milk available, because that's what the body prioritizes. There is no such situation in Gaza.
But there's no water, and since there's no water, the mothers are only producing powdered milk. And the babies, the little babies, cannot drink the powdered milk from their mothers.
Do you know what that smells like?
So they just beat them in the desert.
This guy is relying on lies. Where is your kalb?
Do you know what that sounds like?
Well, do you know what that sounds like? What exactly does that sound like? I don't even understand. Like, does it make sounds? Like, does an empty breast make like sounds or something? Is there like a distinct sound that an empty breast makes? Like, does this guy go around?
Is it like when you're drinking a drink through a straw and then you get to the end and it makes that slurping sound like?
I don't know. Is this guy going around listening to empty breast or something? I don't understand.
I got really close to all the breasts. I made sure that I was super close to all the breasts so I could listen, and it was like listening to a seashell. Like
I put my ears on it.
I could hear the ocean.
I put my ears on it. I put it as close as possible. I know what it sounds like. They beat me in the desert because I was putting my face on women's breasts.
النساء مش قادرة ترضع أطفالها.
For humanity and for love, stand with your brothers and sisters in Palestine.
Palestine. Now he's even starting to speak, saying the name in Arabic.
I have never seen or experienced anything like it. Please, I will beg you, allow us to march to Palestine.
How about you get on your knees?
Yeah.
If Greta Thunberg were a dude, she would be this guy.
Allow us to march to Palestine.
These guys don't care, man.
They do. They seriously do not care.
These guys do not care. They're paid to be there and they're paid to be there and to push you back if you try to get through. You can talk and cry to them as much as you want. You can say they beat me in the desert as much as you want. It doesn't help, man.
Yeah, guys, everything that works with winning people over to your side in the United States and Canada and Great Britain and France, it don't work there. And so you need a plan B, and you didn't have one. It's just, we'll go there and we'll say they beat me in the desert, and because that's why if I were in Los Angeles and I said they beat me in the desert, the whole of Los Angeles would gather around me to support me. So I'll try that with Egyptian soldiers.
They beat me in the desert. I love this guy, man.
Love of humanity.
وين الإنسانية التي تجمعنا العروبة الإسلام.
The baby.
He really doesn't want to be there. This guy really doesn't want to be there, man. Anyway, so this is from the cringy people, the Cringe People's Republic of Wales. Cringe People's Republic of Wales. But anyway, as we speak, let me see the skyline here. I've been following the skyline in Tel Aviv to see what's up. It's kind of a messed up thing here, man. It's like you see people in the chat like cheering on, yeah, missiles, like, yeah, soon Israel will be destroyed, and then missile strike happens and literally like nothing hits. Let me see. Here's an example. Was it around this time? Like Iran says we're going to hit
Tel Aviv. We're going to hit the Zionists brutally. We're going to do to the Zionists what the Al-Zut did to Muhammad.
We're here. The great threat, we're going to destroy the Zionists, is basically this. You see a few missiles here and there. They are all intercepted before they even can pose any threat. You see here the Iron Dome goes up. Intercept missiles. It's a fascinating system, man.
It is. And here's where Iran seriously has a problem. Israel's used to this. Israel has developed this ability over many years of having shelters and, hey, everyone understand, when you hear the sirens, get to your shelters, there's stuff happening. And so the entire population of Israel is well prepared and well suited to avoid being wiped out by things like this. The Iranian population, the Iranian leaders, not so much. They're not used to being fired upon.
This is all there is. I think in the last one, not a single one actually landed. Or maybe one landed somewhere in some empty field or something.
Well, we've said that the longer this goes on, the more of a disadvantage Iran's going to be at, because Israel has the ability to see where the rockets are being fired from and to blow those places up. And so Iran's ability to fire things will decrease the longer this goes on.
That is the thing about firing rockets. I heard this quote that firing rockets is a suicide mission, because that as soon as you fire them, the enemy knows exactly where you fired from, so they will they then have their intel, and they will come and hit you there. So this is what Israel does, and Israel has been taking out places in Iran left and right, and they don't have much left. According to reports earlier today, or earlier this evening, Iran said that let me bring this up. Let me bring this up here. Iran said the following. I have too many things open here, man. Trump said
Nick Fuentes.
Oh yeah, Nicolas Fuentes.
Isn't he the favorite American commentator in Iran for the Iranian regime right now?
Yes, he is.
And we have the greatest American commentator, Nick Fuentes.
Where was that, man? According to one report, so Iran's state media has issued a chilling warning. Tonight holds a surprise the world will remember for centuries. This is an announcement that several other news channels have reported. They said that Iran has announced that tonight there will be a surprise which will be remembered by the whole world for centuries. But then all that happened was 2 missile strikes. The first one consisted of 15 missiles. The second one consisted of 10 missiles, and nothing actually had an impact. So that's what they said. If they're talking about the following night, I'm not sure what exactly they're promising. But I made my guess because Awesome Jew asked. I said Khamenei will strip on state TV. So this will be the surprise, and you can also imagine that the world will not forget this for centuries, So that's my guess. I'm not sure what exactly else they can do. What do you think? What do you think they want to do?
Why do you want to say something like that if you can't deliver? You know what I mean? It destroys the little bit of credibility you have with anyone, right? Like we're sitting there going, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? But the people who are on their side are like, yes, we're about to see something really big. What happens if you don't deliver something really big? I don't know. Maybe they've got something up their sleeve. Maybe they've got some big weapon they haven't used or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, what if the Ayatollah just comes out and he says, okay, you want to see? Here it is. Look, you weren't expecting this. Look at this. Oh, look. I detached my finger. Oh, you will remember this for centuries.
You see. Orthodox Muslim. This is not the real Orthodox Muslim, man. The real Orthodox Muslim is not in the chat. We have I think we have an upcoming debate sometime soon with Orthodox Muslim and somebody else. I have no idea when.
Do we?
I don't.
I'm not aware of it.
We'll probably start preparing for it
But
today.
they will be humiliated.
Yeah. On the other hand, Khamenei still keeps making threats, saying we must give a strong response to the terrorist Zionist regime. We will show the Zionists no mercy. This is the funny thing about Middle Eastern authoritarian rulers. All they do is always just talk. That's all they can do.
It's the same mentality as Dawa. Whoever's thumping his chest is somehow winning, right? Oh, me so strong, me so strong. Me caveman, me strong caveman.
You motherfucker.
I saw this. AI is crazy, man. That's messed up. It's making a funny point. I don't know.
I kind of
language warning, everyone.
I kind of want to listen to this, but language warning, everybody. So,
extreme language warning. Cover up your kids' ears.
It was hilarious.
Someone's a nut. Whoever made this is a nut, man.
I have to play this, man.
And then I'm like, this baby motherfucker better not blow up by nuclear shit, or I'm gonna go loco on this bitch. And then he blows up all my nuclear shit, and I'm like, call my generals. And they tell me, they're all dead, sir. And I'm like, assemble the army. And they're like, they're dead too, sir. So then I'm like, launch the friggin' missiles. And they're like, sir, they're gone, sir. So I'm like, what the
fuck? Whoever made this.
Someone's nuts, man.
It's also perfectly his voice, you know, so. Oh, man.
Oh, boy.
So that's what's up. That's what's up. That is what is up. While we're speaking, Donald Trump said earlier that so Donald Trump made a post where he said unconditional surrender, which is right here. So Donald Trump said unconditional surrender. He posted that on his social media, Truth Social, which only 80 people use. And then he later on, I think, spent the whole day in the.
Hold on. Why is there a Truth Social, man?
What?
I'm saying the entire point of making Truth Social was to make a version of Twitter and a Twitter alternative, because Twitter wasn't allowing people to say anything that didn't align with the, with whoever's pulling the string. So you need an alternative, Truth Social. Okay, then Elon bought Twitter, and now you can say what you want. So what the heck is Truth Social for now?
Well, you have to have a platform where Donald Trump can just, get his ego
yeah, but he could do that. He could literally do that on X.
No, it's not the same way. Have you ever seen the comment section on Truth Social, man?
Isn't it always like, yay, here's another Trump meme. Yay, here's another Trump is our hero meme. Yeah. Hey, here's another Trump is the greatest president ever meme. It's just like
Trump posts like I had a good dinner. And the comment section is like, yeah, Donald Trump is the best president ever.
Leader in the
greatest president.
He's the savior of us all.
It's so weird. But anyway, here's not this. This is not what I was going to look at. Oh, yeah, I was going to look at this. So he also posted it here, unconditional surrender. He said, we know exactly where the so-called supreme leader is hiding. He's an easy target.
Read it correctly, man. Read it correctly.
You read it.
We know exactly where the so-called supreme leader is hiding. He is an easy target. Very easy, some say the easiest. But is safe there. We are not going to take him out. And I mean kill. I mean kill, in case that wasn't clear. I didn't mean drag him out. I mean kill him. At least not for now. But we don't want missiles shot at civilians. We protect the civilians. It's what we do. Or American soldiers. Our patience is wearing thin. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Kind of tame for a Trump post.
Yeah. But so he went from just a few days ago being like, we should work on making a deal with Iran to, okay, all deals are off the table. It's now time for them to surrender completely. There's no more deal. We're done with this. It's over. He also started claiming Israel's victory here, which is kind of messed up. He said, "We now have complete and total control of the skies over Iran." Excuse me.
What's he mean? We? Are there any American jets flying over?
I mean, there are reports that America is deploying, but so far we don't really.
I just want to say we, and by we I mean Israel, now have complete and total control. But we want half the credit. Half the credit.
I mean, it's Israel that did all the stuff here. So, but we now have complete and total control over the skies over Iran. Iran had good sky trackers and other defense equipment.
Good sky daddies.
But it doesn't compare to American-made, conceived, and manufactured stuff.
Oh, because we manufactured it.
By that he means we, because we did it.
That's funny.
Why does he do this? Stuff in quotation marks.
Manufactured stuff in quotation marks. Manufactured, stuff. Stuff.
Nobody does it better than the good old USA.
Nobody makes stuff better than the good old USA.
You see. So right now he basically wants to force the Islamic regime of Iran to surrender. Now, we have to get to certain things like these. We have some people who are also, for example, supportive of Israel and supportive of the U.S. government so far, chime in and have some like really, really bad opinions on things, or really bad opinions on Iran, for example. Here's Charlie Kirk. Now, I don't follow Charlie Kirk much. I don't know much on what he says. I know he talks a lot about things like abortion and all that. But he says, "This is insane. Regime change will result in a bloody civil war, killing hundreds of thousands and creating another massive Muslim refugee crisis. Topping a leader is never as easy as you think. It almost always
wants to top him.
Topping Khamenei."
No one wants to top that dude. I don't know what you mean by topping, but
topping a leader is never as easy as you think. Yeah, it's probably difficult. It almost always results in further involvement. Yeah, very, very much so. Too much involvement. A civil war and chaos. Resist this. Now, there are some people who share this opinion and who say similar things. For example, another such individual is Matt Walsh and others like him, who normally are not on the whole, insane side, but who say things like regime change is going to do bad things. We can't do that. We have to stay out of it.
Yeah, you can see why they're saying that, right? Because people keep trying it. They tried it in Iraq and so on, and in Afghanistan and so on. We keep trying it. It doesn't work. And so they think that since it didn't work in other these places, it's not going to work in Iran. They think of Iran like along the same lines as these other places, when, guys, keep in mind there could be disasters ahead. There could be some, I don't know. So anything, all this stuff is possible. Iran is not like these other places. They had a monarchy for thousands of years that was kicked out in the 1970s. So in my lifetime, I was alive when the monarchy was kicked out. The monarchy is still there. They're in exile. There are tons of people who would just like to bring the monarchy back. There are people who would like to establish a democracy. The point is, that's not the situation where, like in Iraq, let's say, you have Saddam Hussein, you've got a dictator in charge, and you have a bunch of people who would love, to run the country, and so you also have a bunch of jihadis and stuff waiting to start slaughtering each other as soon as they get the chance. And and you can't maintain control of them because you have to be brutal towards them and so on. Iran, not like that. Iran, not like that. You have a large population who remembers the days before the theocracy, before the mullahs took over, and they're like, we would love to go back to something like that. They remember it. It's not something that they have no understanding of. You take lots of the other places. Lots of other places were kind of artificially made countries that were like, oh, here's the Ottoman Empire. Now the Ottoman Empire lost. Let's draw a new map and make a bunch of countries and put a bunch of people together and stuff. And it doesn't work as well. Here you have a basically proud people group with a long history, and they've basically been subjugated by Shia radical Shia clerics, and they're sick of it and they want it out of the way. And people are going, no, but a regime change never works. Here's the situation. If it can work somewhere, it can work in Iran, because regime changes do work sometimes. And anyone in the United States should have some idea of that. But this is a place it's put it this way. This place is kind of more like more like us when we had a regime change in the 1700s. They're more like us. There's a population that's kind of ready for it.
I have to say, so I will just make it very simple. If you, like Charlie Kirk or Matt Walsh or anybody else, think, oh, the last few times it didn't work when we tried it in Iraq and in Afghanistan and in all these other places, so therefore if we do this in Iran, then it will probably result in a civil war, massacre, and another Islamic government. I'm sorry, but when you say that kind of stuff, you basically sound like, all them frickin' Arabs, you can't trust all them frickin' Arabs, they're all the same. I'm sorry, this is not an Arab country. Iran is not an Arab country. Iran is not an Islamic country. Iran is not even a Muslim country at this point. Iran is a country that was, prior to the Islamic Revolution, was one of the most advanced nations in the Middle East. It was a good partner of Western nations. It was independent from those around it. It is culturally, always was and still is, completely distinct, completely different. The population is not full of Islamic radicals. You do have an Islamic faction, and you did have an Islamic faction that took over and that led the revolution. However, that is because the Islamic faction worked together with others that also wanted to strive for a revolution. They had their dissatisfactions with the monarchy and all that. It's not like Afghanistan or Iraq, where there are huge chunks of or huge populations of Islamic terrorists who are basically part-time goat lovers, part-time fighters who want to go out there and fight and kill and die for Allah. Iran is not like that. Even the Islamist population in Iran is not necessarily like that. They are more for the political aspect. Although the mullah regime and the ayatollah regime, due to their power and due to their unlimited power, have become really perverse. If you break down this society, it will not be left to a bunch of factions fighting each other. It will not be left to Islamists trying to take over. We don't even talk about an alternative Islamist or Muslim government. We already have a government in place that would be ready to walk in and literally take over the country, and they even have a plan, like a 100-day and 1 year plan going forward once they have overthrown the government. And by the way, here's also here is a poll. So polls from Iran are always a little bit questionable.
Hey, 1 second, just 1 second. Along the lines of what you were just pointing out, as far as like serious differences between Iran and other places. We've discussed this before, but 40% of the, you're also, unlike most of the other places we would talk about, you're also dealing with a Muslim minority population.
Yes.
About 40% of the population of Iran identifies as Muslim of any kind, Shia, Sunni, Quran only, and so on. That's very different from some of these places where you got like 99% Muslim population and so on, right? You're already dealing with a Muslim minority. You have a ton of religiously unaffiliated people. You have lots of atheists. You have Zoroastrians. You have Christians, and so on. You have a pretty diverse group there, and they have one thing in common: they can't stand the Twelver Shia theocracy that's been imposed on them. And so that gives rise to this poll result right here.
Here is the poll. Here is a poll of Iranian people. So Iranian people are asked, what do you think about each political system as a way of governing our country, Iran? Here are the results. Having a democratic political system, very good, fairly good, combined are 68% and 20%.
So almost 90%. Almost 90% of the population says we want a democracy.
Yes.
Almost 90% of the population says we don't want Sharia. We want a democracy.
Even the second option here. So 20% very good, 16% fairly good, so over 36%. Even this second option is preferred to the third option, which is the current system, a system governed by religious law. The second option would be having a strong leader who does not have to bother with parliament and elections. Now, here's also the thing. This is not, some people misunderstand when we speak about the crown prince, Reza Pahlavi, who is currently waiting to basically lead the new Iran into the future. They misunderstand and think that we're talking about an absolute monarchy. We're not talking about an absolute monarchy. Reza Pahlavi, who is the crown prince and who is ready and who is whom Iranians mostly want to be put into power, he himself says that what he wants is a democracy. So he himself actually says, I don't even want to, establish any kind of power. I simply want to pave the way for a democracy. That said, lots of people agree with, for example, making compromise and establishing a constitutional monarchy.
Yeah.
Where,
something like the UK. They could have a system like the UK where they still have their monarchs and they still have democracy.
Where he would be restored as the monarch, so he would be the Shah, the king, and then there is under his watch there is democracy, and people can finally vote and do whatever they want. This is a very popular system, not much known to Americans, but in Europe this is very successful in many countries. So, in fact, many of the countries that are very, very high in human standards and all that have constitutional monarchies. So, this is what the Iranian people basically would establish in this case, and you can see that the majority of the population would be good with this. Here is so 19.2% and 9% say having a system governed by religious law. Unfortunately, there is still a part of the population that wants to go for religious law, but as you can see, it is a minority. It is a minority.
Yeah, you can compare this to something like other places where 99% of the population would want religious law. And then we say, let's get rid of the dictator. Let's help this nation get rid of the dictator and give them freedom and democracy. What do? We want Islamic religious law. And that's what they use their freedom and democracy for. And then you say, what did we do this for? It did not help. Different kind of population here. You're dealing with a completely different country.
That is true. In fact, let's have a look at this here. Here is a Pew Research. This is from, when is this from? 2013, quite a while ago. So this was a survey about Muslim countries and whether they favor making Sharia the law of the country. Now compare these results to Iran. Here you have, for example, Afghanistan. Favor or oppose making Sharia the law of the land. Percentage of Muslims who favor making Islamic law the official law in their country. Now, when I look at this chart here, I really wonder what in the world America was thinking when they tried to overturn the system in Afghanistan and in Iraq. I'm sorry, the people of Afghanistan want Sharia. It's right here. It says Afghanistan, 99% of people actually want Sharia. Iraq, 91% want Sharia. So this is where the mistake is. when the US and Western nations came and tried to overthrow the system in these countries and forcibly change things and forcibly impose their Western values onto these nations, they did it against the will of the vast majority of the populations here, which is why it failed. You can see here, as we have just shown, that this is not the case at all in Iran. In Iran, people do not want Sharia law. People do not want Islamic law. People do not want to be ruled by the Islamists. They don't want it. They hate it. This is not like the other Muslim countries, which suck and which are not comparable to Iran. This is the problem. It's not about regime change. It's about where you are doing the regime change. Where you are doing the regime change. Here you can see a chart of this. Secular Republic, 33.6%. Not sufficiently informed to answer, 21%. Absolute monarchy, constitutional monarchy. So you have absolute monarchy and constitutional monarchy rivaling, and you have 22% voting for an Islamic republic here in terms of government systems that would be suitable for Iran. That's it. You don't have the majority of the nation supporting Islamic rule. That's that. That's that, man. That's that. That's that. In fact, so if your preferred political system, which of the following, in your preferred political system, which of the following would you agree with for the function of head of state? This is very funny. Being appointed, elected for life, being hereditary, being a Shia religious authority. Look at this. Being a Shia religious authority, 71.6% disagree with this. 71.6% of the population of Iran, aside from 8.5% who give no opinion, disagree with the current system that the Islamic regime acts like is what the people of Iran want. They don't want to have a head of head of state as a religious figure. They don't want to have a Shia dude at the top of their government.
Compare that with the last one.
With the last one?
The one at the end there.
Being an atheist.
They would rather have an atheist than a Shia.
Look at this. Look at this. They would rather have an atheist. So people are even more against a Shia religious authority as leader than against an atheist as a leader in Iran. This is Iran. Iran is unique. Other Muslim countries are not like this. Iraq, Afghanistan, others are not like this. People need to inform themselves more on this kind of stuff before talking about it and acting like, oh, they're all Arabs and all the Arabs, they're all bad. All the Arabs are terrible. All the Arabs, they're terrible, terrible people. So, Charlie Kirk, be quiet.
And Matt Walsh,
be quiet. Charlie, Earth to Charlie, stick to your repetitive talking points on Israel, which is helpful and great. Stay out of Iran's business completely and stop pretending as if you know the area. Thanks, buddy. This is an Iranian guy. So, look at this. The person here coming to congratulate him is actually Jackson Hinkle. Congratulations, Charlie Kirk. You have won the approval of Jackson Hinkle. Well, very, very well done. Jackson Hinkle now agrees with you. So, inform yourselves on what is going on. Let me see any recent breaking news updates. And if there are breaking news, if anybody has breaking news on the conflict, just say breaking and type it in the chat, but don't type anything weird. Iran, Israel. Meanwhile, let's go with some super chats here. Love to both, said Dunk RS. Thank you, Dunks RS. Jane gifted 1 Apostate Prophet membership. Thank you so much. Ari was when someone forgot that Iran bordered Pakistan, the home of Al-Zut. Maybe may Al-Zut be with you. Israel says it killed a top Iranian general as Trump warns people to flee Iran's capital. That's on the news right now. They have issued more evacuation warnings for different districts and different areas. People have been told to, as much as possible, leave Tehran, the capital of Iran. The issue is, I kind of posted about this yesterday when Trump said people should evacuate Tehran. Evacuating Tehran is a very, very difficult thing to do. It is a place that has a larger population than New York. Evacuating such a place is like nearly impossible. So I hope that, I don't know what's going to happen. People are so some are saying that there are some rumors that America will directly get involved and start bombing places inside Iran. Other speculations are just that Israel or the US will hand over certain equipment to Israel and Israel will do the job. No matter what happens, I just hope and pray for the lowest number of casualties and that the Islamic regime is finished and done as soon as possible.
Hey, I want to make it clear. I'm not dying for Israel. I just want this on record. I'm not going out right now and dying for Israel. I'm putting my foot down.
Put my foot down right here. I ain't dying for Israel.
So if I get the call and it says, David, time for you to go die for Israel, I'm not doing it, by golly.
Context, 1950s, Iran had a democratically elected socialist government. That government proceeded to nationalize the Anglo-American oil companies. They complained, so the CIA couped and installed the Shah. Well, it's a very complex story, but America was indeed involved in a coup in 1950 when Mossadegh, I think, he was elected. But there were also lots of internal disagreements and internal tensions. So with the request of the monarchists, America did indeed do such a job. And then the monarchists stayed in power. Now here is the issue, and this is the one thing that people might complain about and people might be concerned about. A lot of frustration that turned people against the monarchy also arose in response to, or because of, or as a result of America doing a coup a few decades before this. People had some distrust despite the monarch's benevolent and good attitude toward the people because he was installed by the US. So the Islamists who led the revolution together with the socialists and the communists, they really used and milked this narrative that the king or the Shah is a puppet of America and that America is controlling Iran and so on, and we have to fight against them and we have to overthrow them. Of course, it later turned out that America was also partially involved in the overthrowing of the Shah and the installing of the supreme leader, Khomeini. It's all a giant mess. So I'm generally on the side of not having America involved in directly trying to overthrow a regime or causing a regime change. In this situation, it is different. In this situation, Iranians want the West to intervene. They want the West to interfere. They want to get rid of the totalitarian Islamic regime. They want it gone. According to another survey, 70% of Iranians, when asked, said that they are in favor of the West stepping in and doing something to get rid of the Islamic regime. Simply Faith said, greetings from Qatar. God bless Persia. I would still call it Iran. Nothing wrong with calling it Iran. Iran is good. Iran is a good name. Abu Bakr al-Puff Daddy, should U.S. provide assistance, offensive weapons? And it will be useful. It will be useful. Do it. Do it. Do it. If Khamenei were somehow to survive and slip out of his Führerbunker, he'd look pretty zooty, if you ask me. I know that would be pretty embarrassing. He'll probably go to Russia. They all flee to Russia. Ivan Ness, I also can't sleep, so I watch dumb stuff instead. Thracian Alpha DNA, please comment on the Zangezur corridor and on the consequences for Armenia shortly when Iran's military is weakened. Azerbaijan and Turkey will invade. It's not an area that I am terribly informed about. The one disappointment that I have with Armenia is that Armenia basically kind of on their own accord chose to align themselves with the bad guys in Europe. They shouldn't have done that. But I don't know. I wish them all the best. Pray for them. Bully McGuire, AP and Dawood are going to run Iran. Allah can make it happen. Hey, we should go on a vacation to Iran once this is over.
Or take over.
That's true. We can do that too. Charles Momanson. Sean McDowell asked Mark Winger his best argument for God. Did he ask the Dizzle or did he just burn some wood?
Did not ask me.
Huh. Nobody cares about David's best argument. The seal of the prophets. Funny thing is now leftists, even now leftists are like, yeah, the Islamists are horrible, but the Shah himself was a brutal dictator. The Shah was not a brutal dictator. You know? This is an excuse that people use. And there was a point where I was also under the impression, because of the twisting of history and the propaganda, which was led by the Islamic Revolution and also spread to the rest of the world. I was actually under the impression that the Shah was also bad or that he was also oppressive. This is complete nonsense, actually. Now, there was one force that the intelligence service, Savak, which he had established to kind of crack down on those who wanted to take down the monarchy, that apparently did things like extrajudicial arrests and controls of people who were suspected of being opponents of the monarchy and who were suspected of being revolutionaries. But in the aftermath, you could say that it was totally justified. It was totally justified to do that because those people did indeed, in the end, overthrow the government and install their horrible regime and start killing and brutally oppressing people. The monarch, the Shah himself, was a benevolent guy. He was a popular guy. And the crown prince nowadays is very popular. People love him. Abraham Harb, everyone claiming that Israel is making money through this war. How exactly are they making money? I just don't understand leftist logic. People are retarded. You know? People are retarded. Very, 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 very bigly retarded.
But the people are retarded.
Israel is not making any money or even gaining benefits from waging this war. On the contrary, it is it causes a lot of losses. So this is not something that is really greatly beneficial for Israel at all. It causes loss of life, unrest, monetary damages, already millions of dollars of damages in Tel Aviv and Israel in general. So this is not something that is really favorable to people. It is seen as a necessity, the current war. Apple Baker, as per Robert Spencer, President Jimmy Carter was duped into helping the Ayatollah Khomeini. Had Carter read Spencer's book, history might have changed. This is true. Jimmy Carter was found to be pretty much guilty. Intellectual iconoclasm, my hens have more self-preservation instinct than your standard Islamists. Powerful. I believe you. Abraham Harp, is being al-Zutid a good or bad thing from the Muslim perspective? Because Israel is militarily al-Zuting Iran, but Momo liked the al-Zuting event. David, what do you think about this?
Yeah, they may think of it like that. And there's a creepier parallel than you may be aware of. You do have like the doomsday cult undertones in the Iranian regime where they actually want to be blasted because they think this is going to make the Mahdi come to rescue them.
They want to be al-Zuted.
They want the crap al-Zuted out of them. They think the Mahdi will come and save us from the al-Zut who are banging us.
should have expected that, but I was. Apu Baker, Puff Daddy. David Wood, please summarize quick arguments versus Tawheed.
As far as arguments about Tawheed, arguing against Tawheed, it's mainly explaining what Tawheed is. That it doesn't fit what Dawa guys are presenting as Tawheed, this just clear oneness of God and so on. Tawheed sounds completely insane when you actually explain it, that you've got this this weird gremlin shaped God with all these weird body parts and weird features and so on, and then he's breathing out the spirit and speaking out the eternal Quran and speaking out Jesus, and there are these, and they become persons and so on. I mean, they become like individuals, like the Quran appears as a man. Jesus is the word of Allah. He appears as a man. And then he breathes out the spirit, all while complaining that anything in the ballpark of the Trinity is from Satan. You got a big problem with Tawheed. So as far as arguing against Tawheed, it's not here's why Tawheed is false. It's just here's what Tawheed is, and this is not what people are being told.
Beast. Sharif don't like it. Rock the Casbah. Just for referencing Rock the Casbah here, I'm gonna ban you from this channel permanently.
Sharif don't like it. Rock the Casbah. Rock the Casbah.
Little late starting over at the beginning. Love you guys. Jens Kaijer says, in a debate about the dilemma with a Muslim, he said that there is no dilemma. He says that in 548 it says supreme authority, Muhaymin. How do I refute it?
You go to one of the many videos and live streams where we've addressed this exact same lying translation.
This is why David needs to write a book about the Islamic dilemma so that everyone can have it right in front of them.
Yeah, so watch our recent live stream. Dude, this is a terrible argument that Muhaymin does not mean supreme authority, and you have to be insane to translate it as
Muhaymin.
The translation of Muhaymin as supreme authority was made specifically to avoid the Islamic dilemma. That's what it was made for. Muhaymin means guardian. The Quran is the guardian of the previous scripture, not the supreme authority who decides what's true and false. So yeah, matter of fact, watch my recent response to Muhammad Hijab. Did Muhammad Hijab use this? Yeah, he did. So Surah 5 verse 48. Yeah, Muhaymin means guardian, and if you look in context what it means for the Quran to be the guardian, it's 543. Jews try to avoid what the ruling of the Torah, and Allah and Muhammad send them back to the Torah, and so you're not getting away from the Torah. Verse 47, Christians are told that they have to judge by the gospel, and the next verse says that the Quran is the guardian of the previous scriptures. How? It's guarding against people who try to avoid judging by them. But there's an additional problem, which you can see all this. You can watch my video response. There's an additional problem. There's always been a minority Muslim interpretation of 548 where the Muhaymin is not the Quran.
Muhaymin
is not the Quran. The Muhaymin is Muhammad, and it's Muhammad as the guardian of the Quran. What's this mean? Well, if you want to say Muhaymin means supreme authority, then you'd have Muhammad being the supreme authority over the speech of Allah. I don't think any Muslim wants to say that Muhammad is the supreme authority who decides what's true and false of the speech of Allah. That would make Muhammad a higher authority than Allah, and Muslims would be guilty of shirk. So,
and I don't think you want to call Muhammad a Hyman. So
yeah, so we can all call Muhammad Muhaymin. And tell everyone, yeah, dude, it's very simple. Just look this stuff up. It's not that hard. Look up what it says in a commentary. Pull up 10 translations. None of them are going to translate it as supreme authority. Why? It's not what it means. But I don't know why people have this basic, oh, well, no, a guy said this. What? There's very easy ways for you to deal with that. Look it up or go to one of our video responses. It doesn't have to be some great mystery. Let me put it this way. Any Dawah guy who's responding to the Islamic dilemma is going to lie to you. Any Dawah guy who's responding to the Islamic dilemma is going to lie to you. That's the only way to try and avoid the dilemma. So all you have to do is get in the habit of looking it up. Look up what he's saying, and you will see very quickly that he is lying, and you can expose him. And everything they say, dude, we've got live streams on it. We've got live streams.
Yeah. What if we called Mohammed Hijab Mohammed Hyman from now on? It's kind of similar, you know.
Call him Muhammad. You
Um,
can, because he's the guardian, right? The guardian of the Ummah.
Yeah.
We can start calling any of these guys the Muhammadans.
Yeah. Muhammad. I debated Muhammad. When he Abraham Harb, when he said, "Where's your heart?" he mispronounced qalb and said dog. Essentially asked Arabs, "Where's your dog?" Yeah. Where's your qalb? Where's your qalb? Where's your dog? Sivako. Does anyone know what an empty breast sounds like? Dude, what is this live stream?
Do you know what that sounds like?
They beat me in the desert. They beat me in the desert. I'm excited and hope for freedom in Iran, says skyscraper philosopher, but seems like it will be hard to fold the future Iran together when Persians are only 50% of population and 1.5. What are you talking about, Matt?
I think that means one of two. He's got more.
Oh, okay. So much regional division. Kurds, I sympathize with, will seek independence. Turkey will support Azeris, Lurs, Belukis, Turks. No, I think that I don't think Kurds actually want independence inside Iran. I think Kurds are very much the Kurdish population, especially in certain places like Kermanshah and places like that in Iran, are pretty loyal to the idea of having a united Iran. They are not like the Kurdish population in Iran is not like the Kurdish population in Turkey, for example, or in Iraq. They have been generally better under Iran. That said, I can't really say much about the other populations. I'm pretty sure that the Azeri population is also very much proudly and happily Iranian. So you see that the majority of the population just wants to get rid of the Ayatollah and the mullahs. Arctic based for the love of humanity. Let's march in Palestine. Yeah. Khaybar's barbecue. The Al-Zut beat Muhammad in the desert. The Al-Zut, they beat Muhammad in the desert.
That's what we need. We need one of these pictures of Muhammad and Al-Zut with that dude's audio. They beat me in the desert. And it's like Muhammad. That's like Muhammad crawling back to Ibn Masud. Ibn Masud, Abdullah, they beat me in the desert.
They beat me in the desert. Ari Osman, Tucker Chomsky just interviewed Al-Zut in Qatar. He was extremely impressed, but needs a few weeks to rest before posting the video. Whom did he interview? Hey, did you see Donald Trump bashing Tucker Carlson?
I saw him call him kooky or something like that.
Yes. The name that he actually came up with for Tucker Carlson was Kooky Tucker Carlson.
Hey, what's crazy is Tucker had the same issue that Candace had. Sometimes you'll have people who are working for a bigger organization and they have to sort of moderate their views so that they don't, lose their jobs and so on. And then all of a sudden they lose their jobs and they go completely nuts, man.
Yeah. And then they say, it's
like that's what they were always like. They just kept their behavior under control because they were working for someone. And then they lose it.
Well, I think Tucker Carlson was always kind of a little bit unwell. So here's Donald Trump. Actually, what came first is that he was asked about Tucker Carlson. He said, so he was asked a question about Tucker Carlson. Let's see.
Tucker Carlson criticizing you, saying that you were complicit in the war.
I don't know what Tucker Carlson is saying. Let him go get a television network and say it so that people listen.
And quickly, have you spoken to Zelensky before your bylaws?
Like, that's all he said?
Yeah, a lot of
So I don't know what Tucker Carlson said. Let him get a TV station. And then he later on posted this. Somebody please explain to Kooky Tucker Carlson that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. So I'm glad that he finally disavowed and bashed Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson is a lunatic and should have no part in this. And here's your friend doing a parody of Tucker Carlson and Donald Trump. I haven't seen this. Let me see.
So President Trump, thank you so much for coming on my podcast finally. I saw this Morning that you called me kooky, which even for me, that's a new one. But really, I mean, I wasn't quite sure how to interpret that one, actually. I mean, so what was that?
Well, yeah, I did, actually. That's right, I did. Because you are a little bit kooky these days. I don't know what the hell happened to you. You seem totally okay and relaxed with the idea of radical regimes having nuclear weapons. We're not going to let that happen, Tucker.
No, I don't want Iran to have nuclear weapons. I mean, I don't think I do anyway. I'm not sure. I could be wrong. I don't think that I do. But I also don't know if I don't.
Right, you just don't want to do anything about it if they try.
Well, not exactly. I just don't want the United States to have to do anything about it. I mean, I don't think that's a good idea. I don't think. But why might I be wrong?
So what do you want to do about it, Tucker? You want to call him up and be nice, and you want to say, oh, please, stop with the enrichment. It's hurting us. No, I don't think so. It doesn't work that way. Now, look, you either understand it or you don't.
No, I totally understand. I just want to ask questions. I'm an American. I was always taught that was a good thing.
No. Excuse me. You're not just asking questions. You know that. Don't treat the American people like they're stupid, okay?
That's not what I'm doing at all. But I am curious. I mean,
Wait, he's nailing the Tucker Carlson laugh, man.
Yeah, Tucker Carlson does have that weird hysterical laugh that he just...
I talked to Vladimir Putin last week, actually, who is a pretty great guy. And he actually asked me to ask you, and I think he did it with all due respect, actually. Why do you hate our country?
Look, it's very simple, Twitchy Tucker. Iran can never, ever be allowed to have a nuclear weapon. Not gonna happen. Think of it. I wanted to solve this through my big, beautiful deal with Iran, right? I call it the big, beautiful deal. But if that doesn't work, I might have to use some big, beautiful steel. And believe me, they don't want to see that happen. The world doesn't want to see that happen.
Right, but there are many influencers who have millions of followers who don't want to see that happen at all. I mean, like, ever. They really don't. I think they prefer the proverbial jaw to war, which was said, of course, by the chief villain of World War II, Winston Churchill, I think.
Yeah, that might be true, but you know what, Tucker? I have 74 million people who voted for me to be president of the United States, right?
Yes.
Think of it. That's a hell of a lot of people who want me to be commander-in-chief.
Right, but at the same time...
Excuse me. You know who they didn't vote for, right?
Gay liberals who are a threat to our democracy?
They didn't vote for Comrade Kamala, and they certainly didn't vote for you. That I can tell you, okay?
Now compare this to Tucker Carlson's actual laughter, which is kind of, I mean, it concerns, it makes me think that there's something.
You are, I think, the dean of alternative media. You've been doing draggy, a little groggy, a little just like dragged. But no, that now Jake Tapper has uncovered the truth. Like, it turns out Joe Biden was in cognitive decline. Did you know that?
How did he find out?
Other interested, like FOIA documents.
Well, that was good.
That was kind of a regular laugh. That's not the high pitch.
Kids, you
it's like Joker laugh.
Where's his other laugh, man? I want to hear his bit.
You have lost the plot, son. Anti-Israel. Man, you have lost the plot, son.
There you go. That's more like it when he gets all high pitched.
Yeah, there are better examples. Got better examples. We got to find those better examples, but I can't look at it right now. Somebody should make a compilation of all the ridiculous moments where Tucker Carlson laughs. Anyway, if I were an authoritarian leader, I'd act, make me world dictator. Thanks. All right, on it right now. Kevin, do you think Israel launches war without the green light from the US, or do you think it has been in the works for some time? Pretty sure that the US was fully aware of Israel's intentions. Donald Trump also confirmed that. I don't think that Trump would actually say that if it wasn't so. The US government confirmed that Israel talked to the U.S. government and fully informed them, and then went ahead with the plan, and that Trump was okay with it. So Trump basically gave the explanation that he gave the Islamic regime of Iran 60 days to make a deal, and if they don't make a deal in 60 days, then it's over. And in those 60 days, Iran did not try to make a deal. What they did instead is to come together and say, "Death to America. Death to America." Here you have it. Here you have it.
بعضی از این حرفایی که در این سفر رئیس جمهور آمریکا به
You're right. The voice is exactly the same.
لایق
Right, it's pretty good.
جواب دادن نیست اصلا.
So here you go. In that time frame where Donald Trump gave them the opportunity to sit down and make a deal, they instead chose to say, we don't want to make any deal. It was death to America. Death to America. Death to England. Like, what did England ever do?
And by the way, that's probably the reason for the quick green light, right? So imagine, Bibi is like, President Trump, want to bomb the crap out of these guys, getting sick of these guys terrorizing us and so on. Then it would be what? It would be, well, I gave him 60 days. And Trump's probably thinking, okay, this will teach you a lesson for not stepping to the table for an agreement when I give you a deadline. At that point, he's probably still thinking in terms of a deal, right? Like, okay, these guys will understand if you don't go, if I tell you you've got 60 days for a deal and you say death to America, then I'll just let Israel bomb the crap out of you. And then you'll come crawling back to me begging for the deal, deal. So you want the deal. And he may be thinking right now, well, doesn't look like they want a deal. And so unconditional surrender.
Actually, yesterday, I believe the Iranian government, through a spokesperson, said that they are now they now ask the U.S. for a ceasefire for nuclear talks under the condition that the U.S. doesn't step into the war. And Donald Trump then said as a response, "Well, it seems like you want to talk, but the time for talking is over.
We gave you 60 days, guys. 60.
It doesn't look like they're winning the war, so there's no more talking." So yeah, that's how it goes, man.
And so, as far as the first strike of that Israel launched on Iran, Trump could have still been thinking, just want a deal. And if they see the repercussions, then they'll want the deal. And now they may want a deal, but he may now have shifted to other countries. I want other future countries to understand when I tell them they have 60 days, or their country will be completely overthrown.
Beast.
Can you imagine if this place got blown up right in the middle of the speech?
That would be brutal, man.
That would be brutal.
Also, as some pointed out, we also have confirmed intel that they tried to assassinate Donald Trump. So. So death to America, death to England.
I just love screaming death. Like what kind of
death to Israel?
We keep saying death cult, and all they do is scream death to this, death to that all day long. Death to all the things. Death to everything we don't like. Death. Hey, you're a death cult.
Therefore, I hope that the Islamic regime gets destroyed, blown to bits as soon as possible, and that the Iranian people can be spared from this, and that the Iranian people can take over and put an end to this once and for all. This perversion.
You know what'd be funny? Because Israel does all these like mastermind plans. It'd be funny if they sent him like a new turban. And he's like, "Oh, I have this beautiful new turban for my head." Then he puts it on, it like squeezes his head.
That'd be nice. That'd be good to look at too.
And it squeezes his head until it pops like a grape.
That'd be awesome.
It'd be super based.
So Goldie Gamari here, I don't know why it says follow back. Pretty sure I do follow her. Said She's a very good source to follow that shares accurate news about Iran and the revolution.
Oh yeah, she got a good little video, that the one that says 9 million Iranians. You got that, man?
Which one?
I actually had that already. I had that on my screen. She got a post. This is from maybe 2 days ago. Said 9 million Iranians live outside of Iran, mostly in Western countries. As tensions rise between the U.S. and Israel versus the terrorist Islamic Republic occupying Iran, ask yourself this: how many anti-West demonstrations have you seen by Iranians? The answer is
2 days ago.
0.
Did you
ask
say from
yourself
2 days
why?
ago?
You want me to send you the link, man?
Yes. Where is it?
There's a good little video.
Where is it, man? Where is it? Where is it?
I just sent it to your email.
Where is it? Where is it? Okay, fine. Where is it, man? I didn't get anything.
I sent it. Oh, I sent it to your phone.
To my phone?
It's on my laptop. I don't know how to send it to this program from my
What
laptop.
century is this, man? What century is this? You sent me something to my phone.
You want me to send it to your email?
Send it to my email so I can open it up very quickly.
Okay, I'll send it to your email just to make you happy. Then you can quit whining.
Make me happy. Make me happy.
Meanwhile, let's watch this.
به خاک وطن که شنیدی صدای متجاوز به خاک وطن صدای متجاوز به صدای حق و حقیقت.
This lady is very strong and based.
که ملاحظه کردید صدایی که شنیدید فضای غبارآلوده استدیو.
Is that real, man? Has that been confirmed as real?
Yes, of course.
Because that's like, I have to say, that's second only to the woman who found out her terrorist hero had been taken out.
This is so epic, man. So, like, Israel actually destroyed the place while they were live broadcasting.
While she's running her mouth, and this will never, the Jews will never stop us. We're too strong. We have the protection of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala over us. Their bombs cannot hurt us. Their bombs will never stop. In fact, there's no way their bomb will even stop this broken. What?
Israel does this perfect thing with comedic timing. It's very, very nice.
Israel is very good at comedic timing.
But the thing is, so some people were like, "What isn't this journalists?" No, it's not journalists. What they targeted here is not journalism. What they targeted is the headquarters of the Islamic regime's propaganda TV station. This is not an independent, place of journalism. These are employees of the Iranian regime, where they spread all kinds of perversions and their propaganda through the country. Israel made sure to target all kinds of propaganda locations of the regime, and this is one of those.
صدایی که شنیدید فضای غبارآلوده استدیو.
I mean, how humiliating is this? This is probably planned, right? So they know that that Iranian people, including the religious folk, will be watching this, and as they're watching it live, as the Iranian regime is running their propaganda, Israel comes and drops a bomb right onto the live broadcast. It is humiliating.
It's pretty darn disrespectful, I'll say that.
And it shows the power, and it shows how powerless the Islamic regime is, while acting as if they had so much power. So much power. All right, here. Let's see. So Goldie is actually a politician in Canada who was kicked out because she appeared with Tommy Robinson. But she's a pretty solid voice for Iranians abroad. and I have been listening to her spaces over the last few days and also participating. 9 million Iranians live outside of Iran, mostly in Western countries. As tensions rise between the US and Israel versus the terrorist Islamic Republic occupying Iran, ask yourself this: how many anti-West demonstrations have you seen by Iranians? The answer is 0. Ask yourself why. Let's see what she said.
Iranian here. So I'm out walking my dog, and I was thinking about the rising tensions between the United States and Israel versus the Islamic Republic occupying my birth country of Iran. And I'm noticing a lot of non-Iranians are speaking out and trying to defend the Islamic Republic, and they're basically whitewashing the crimes of a brutal Islamic dictatorship that has held my country hostage for the last 47 years. I don't know if you know this, but 10% of Iran's population actually live outside of Iran because the vast majority of us escaped. No normal person wants to live in a dictatorship. There's about, I would say, maybe 90 million Iranians in total. So that's about 9 million Iranians who live outside of Iran, mostly in Western countries like Canada, United States, elsewhere. To all these people who are supporting the terrorist Islamic Republic and trying to whitewash the crimes of a brutal Islamic regime, where are the protests by Iranians? Where are the Iranians who are in Western countries organizing demonstrations to protest against the West, protest against Israel or America or whatever? You can't find any. They don't exist. That's not a bug. That's a feature. And I'll tell you why. Because unlike the pro-Hamas crowds who go out and simp for terrorists and cry intifada and are very anti-Semitic and try to destabilize Western societies, there's a very good reason why you're not going to see any demonstrations by Iranians. That's because we're not a bunch of inbred, savage, jihadi, terrorist sympathizers. Think about that.
That's exactly what we've been saying, just in different words. The people of Iran are different. They're not the same. And everyone's going, Matt Walsh and Charlie Kirk, they're exactly the same.
I didn't expect her to actually throw in that at the end.
By Iranians. That's because we're not a bunch of inbred, savage, jihadi, terrorist sympathizers. Think about that.
Man.
Sister has a point. Sister has a point.
That's funny.
You reposted it.
Yeah. She really doesn't like Islam. She made that very clear. Military officers of the Islamic regime in Iran have now begun seeking contact with Iran's exiled Shah and national leader, His Majesty Reza II Pahlavi, expressing their intent to defect and pledge allegiance to His Majesty. So these reports have been going around. Not sure to what extent they are accurate, but any such knowledge coming directly from Iran or Iranian sources helps out. What I want to have a look at here is the speech by this gentleman, who is none other than Reza Pahlavi, the Crown Prince of Iran himself, the son of the last Iranian king, the son of the last Iranian Shah. Let's see what he said today. I also published it today on the channel. So here is his speech.
همیهنانم جمهوری اسلامی به پایان خود رسیده و در حال سقوط است.
My fellow countrymen, the Islamic Republic has reached its end and is in the process of collapsing.
همچون موشی خامنه‌ای همچون موشی هراسان زیر زمین پنهان شده.
Khamenei, like a frightened rat, has gone into hiding underground.
زیر زمین پنهان شده و کنترل اوضاع را
and has lost control of the situation.
از دست داده است. آنچه آغاز شده برگشت ناپذیر است. آینده روشن است و ما با هم از این پیچ تند
Together we will pass through this sharp turn in history.
تاریخ عبور خواهیم کرد. در این روزهای دشوار
In these difficult days,
دل من با همه
my heart is with all the defenseless citizens
شهروندان بی‌دفاعی است که آسیب دیدند
who have been harmed
و قربانی جنگ طلبی
and have fallen victim to Khamenei's warmongering and delusions.
و توهمات خامنه‌ای شدند. من سالها کوشیدم تا میهن
For years I have tried to prevent our homeland from being consumed by the fire of war.
من گرفتار آتش جنگ نشود. پایان جمهوری اسلامی، پایان جنگ 46.
The end of the Islamic Republic is the end of its 46-year war against the Iranian nation.
ساله آن با ملت ایران است. دستگاه سرکوب رژیم در حال فروپاشی
The regime's apparatus of repression is falling apart.
است.
I know, Samuel, that you can read, but there are some people who are not looking at the screen and who cannot listen, so I'm reading it out for them.
تنها یک خیزش همگانی لازم است
All it
تا این
takes is a
کابوس
nationwide uprising
برای همیشه
to put an end to this nightmare once and for all.
پایان یابد. اکنون زمان ایستادن است.
Now is the time to rise.
زمان بازپسگیری ایران.
The time to reclaim Iran.
همه با هم
Let us all
از
come
بندر
forward.
عباس تا
From Bandar Abbas to Bandar Anzali, he's listing a bunch of places in Iran now.
بندر انزلی، از شیراز تا اصفهان،
From Shiraz to Isfahan.
از تبریز تا زاهدان،
From Tabriz to Zahedan.
از مشهد تا اهواز،
From Mashhad to Avaz.
از شهر کرد تا
From Shahrikur to Kermanshah. These are Kurdish and Azeri populated places, I believe.
کرمانشاه. به صحنه بیاییم. پایان
And bring about the end of this regime.
این رژیم را رقم بزنیم. نگران فردای پس از سقوط جمهوری اسلامی
Do not fear the day after the fall of the Islamic Republic.
نباشید. ایران دچار جنگ داخلی و
Iran will not descend into civil war or instability.
بی‌ثباتی نخواهد شد. ما برای آینده ایران و
We have
شکوفایی
a plan for Iran's future and its flourishing.
برنامه داریم. ما برای 100 روز نخست پس از سقوط
We are prepared for the first 100 days after the fall, for the transitional period,
دوران گذار و استقرار یک حکومت ملی و دموکراتیک
and for the establishment of a national and democratic government
برای ملت ایران و به دست ملت
by the Iranian people and for the Iranian people.
ایران آماده ایم. خطاب به نیروهای نظامی و انتظامی،
To the military, law enforcement, security forces, and state employees,
امنیتی و دولتی که این روزها بسیاری از آنها
many of whom have been sending me messages in recent days, I say,
به من پیام می‌فرستند. برای حفظ رژیمی که سقوط آن آغاز شده و حتمی است،
do not stand against the Iranian people for the sake of a regime whose fall has begun and is inevitable.
روبروی ملت ایران نایستید. خود را فدای رژیم پوسیده نکنید.
Do not sacrifice yourselves for a decaying regime.
با ایستادن در کنار ملت جان خود را
By standing with the people, you can save your lives.
کنید. در گذار از جمهوری اسلامی نقشی تاریخی ایفا
Play a historic role in the transition from the Islamic Republic
و در ساختن آینده ایران
and take part in building the future of Iran.
رحیم باشید. ایران آزاد و آباد پیش
A free and flourishing Iran lies ahead of us.
روی ماست. باشد که به زودی در کنار شما
May we be together soon.
باشم. پاینده ایران
Long live
زنده باد
Iran.
ملت
Long live the Iranian nation. There you go. This was a historic speech directly in Persian for the people of Iran. Just the English one has 7 million views, 52,000 likes, and then also the mere Iranian Persian version here is out here. Very, very, very cool. Very, very cool. Very, very cool. I hope this works out, and I hope that the Iranian people can take this opportunity. I hope they can rise up, and I hope that the Crown Prince can join them. I hope that they go toward a new future where they are finally rid of the Islamic regime. The Islamic regime is not just a poison, not just a scourge upon the people of Iran, but also upon the Middle Eastern people and the people outside that region in general. The IRGC, the Islamic regime, is the main supplier, the main network of terrorist organizations like the Houthis, like Hezbollah, like Hamas, like others. If the Islamic regime of Iran falls, then lots of terrorist organizations, a lot of terrorists in the Middle East will be left without a supplier, without a network, without a support, without a foundation, and they will also start crumbling. Maybe this can also lead to Lebanon being fixed. I don't know. Hope for the best. But I believe in this guy. I believe this guy. And I hope he can bring goodness to this place. The U.S. has placed its forces on high alert across the UAE, Jordan, and Saudi Arabia, according to the New York Times. Anyway, so David, what do you think? Asa says, boys, what happened to that sound you used to play? Sounds like Wazulu something something. You mean this one?
Wazulu.
So, David, what are your thoughts? Tesbot says, hi guys, GT news about IRGC collapse. God bless Israel. But by the way, what's the difference between Shia and Sunni? Is one more toxic? It's like asking, I can't even think of a comparison, man.
One, the main difference between how dangerous they are is that one has a significantly bigger group, right? So Sunnis are roughly 85% of the population of Muslims. So when there are people trying to subjugate you and impose Sharia on you, chances are they're going to be Sunni. So Shias are less dangerous, mainly because there are far fewer of them. That's the difference. But you can see from Iran, they can be just as crazy.
Yeah. Shia actually have more cultish, more in a strange way, crazy attitudes and beliefs about things. But as much as they might be shite, the ones who claim to be Sunni are usually the bigger problem. So, Stefan de Peltet, Zutz, topping leaders is our jihad. What's yours? Asa says, FYI, I still use a Sunbeam food mixer USA made that was brought for me as a wedding gift in 1969. Nobody made quality like the old school USA. David, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, but stuff's easier to make in other places. So,
no, what are your thoughts about the situation in Iran and the Shah?
Yeah, American-made products are really good. But
okay,
people aren't going to keep making them in the U.S. because it's cheaper to make them elsewhere.
Like in Iran?
Yeah.
Okay.
So just have Iran make all your stuff.
Christian Killian says, so Iran is doing all this to bring back the Mahdi.
Yeah, we already found the Mahdi.
That weird dude in the dark hood from a month ago. What happened to that guy? Seriously, what happened to that guy, man?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Sam 1234, laughter is good for the digestion. All praise be the AP. Thank you, man. Arctic Base, please look up the phallic IRGC nuke threat video. I'm not sure if that actually came from Iran officially, or if that just came from some ridiculous channel. But I did see a nuclear threat video, which looked kind of ridiculous. Where is that? Didn't that come up earlier somewhere? Nuclear threat Iran. Let me see. There was a video of some hand stroking a nuclear bomb like it was I don't know what that was. I don't know where that is. I can't find it now. Mr. Trainee, I worked in Nazi Germany, Imperial Japan, Communist Korea, French Revolution, Poland, etc.
Talking about regime changes.
I would say there's a good comparison because these cultures were actually good cultures that are, that are not too difficult to change or not too difficult to bring back to their senses. I could say the same thing about Iran, for example. Iranians already want to get rid of their stupid regime. You couldn't really do the same thing with those Islamic nations. Ari Wasserman said, Trump, we will not unleash al-Zut. Hey, David, read this like Trump.
We will not unleash al-Zut. Don't worry, guys. I only threaten enemies with a bad time, frankly. No fun will be had, I promise. Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Nice. Urinating Broom says,
hey, wouldn't it be funny to name your missiles al-Zut?
That's what they do.
The al-Zut missile.
The great Zut.
The great al-Zut missiles. Wouldn't it be funny to hear Israel firing the al-Zut missiles at Iran?
Yeah. The guys arguing regime change bad guys are just ideologically committed to a bizarre international isolationism that ultimately harms the West. Yeah, isolationism is stupid and gay. You guys are going to look so silly when I make my next move. I have made contact with the mole people, and they have taken over the dead. Or they've taken over for the dead. Samuel Johnson mounting Ayatollah isn't as easy as you think. This is true. Joe of the Masks, I'm a little behind. Thank you for the Trump reading. It was the best. Others may be good, but yours is the best. I am told it is the best. And who am I to disagree? It was good, not just good, but the best.
All valid points.
Very funny. Very good. I'm going to have to run through a few super chats here. Got to skip some of the very small ones. Just like Mohammed did on the night of the al-Zut.
You skip the small ones. Skip the small ones.
Ayatollah Khamenei said, only the Ayatollahs have the necessary foresight to conduct polling. These are fake Zionist statistics. Did anyone even use a dowsing stick? Yep. Ash McLeroy, as an Iranian, I must say it's very nice to, for once in 47 years, see folks like you who actually accurately represent us. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. I appreciate that. But your name is literally Ash McLeroy, so I don't really buy that you're an Iranian. If I invited you here on stream, you would probably start talking like, they beat me in the desert. So difficult to believe you. They beat me in the desert. Also, Didi Line says, step 1, AP becomes temporary atheist. 2, AP becomes king of Iran. 3, AP reverts to Christianity. 4, Shah AP announces Iran a Christian nation, winning. This is a good plan. But I'm not going to identify as atheist anymore, so. Ash McLeroy said, no, they didn't install the Shah. Shah was already in power and he deposed this prime minister Mossadegh, and the USA backed the Shah. He did that to prevent outbreak of communist Soviet influence in Iran. Okay, that's a better representation. See? Now I believe that you're Iranian. Thank you. Drew Traver Mech gets mentioned by both sides of politics in the media. It would be awful if that's the one regime that makes it in. I don't think that anybody would trust them at all. I don't even want to mention them because these people are insane people. Mech. I also don't want them to be brought up too much because I don't want them to become popular and trending or anything. But this is...
Wait, are you guys talking about Amy Mech?
No, Amy Mech is good. She's awesome. But Mech is an Iranian group that is that was part of the revolution and was then kicked out. That is a communist organization turned weird Shia Islamic cult. It's very weird. In fact, there's a guy who is part of Mech that we have both debated. This insane person. What's his name again? The bald guy who always talks about the jungle.
Oh, you mean Perfect Dawa?
Yes. That
Perfect Dawa.
The jungle. He's part of Mech, and Mech is it's a socialist, communist, terrorist organization that is also a religious cult that is pretty messed up, man. Nobody wants them. Nobody wants them anywhere. Script Kolbe, hey, what's up? Good to see you here. AP, that's real nice icon of Max you have back there. I'm glad you enjoyed the history of him. God bless you and David too. It is. Of Max, I mean, here. It's right here. It's even Polish. It says in Polish, Święty Maximilian. Yeah. He was pretty based.
Do you have an icon of Vlad the Impaler?
No. E4 Mafia gifted 1 membership. Thank you so much, E4 Mafia. Always good to see you here. Supreme Leader Ayatollah Dayid Hilbilawudini. Look at this.
I don't know why you're laughing.
Who makes these accounts?
I'm just saying you can't be laughing at every. That encourages people to make more stupid named accounts.
Who makes these accounts? Supreme Leader Ayatollah Dayid Hilbilawudini.
You're encouraging people. How would you like it if someone made a horrible parody account of you? How'd that make you feel?
Breathe. Breathe. Okay. Focus. Breathe. It's just too funny, man. The confrontation with the wiggling entity must be handled with force. We will never reconcile with them. They'll have a surprise for the centuries. Man, this is good. This is good. Thank you, Kolbe. Thank you, Kolbe. Thank you for becoming a member. Thank you for gifting memberships. I don't know if you're the real one. Laurel leaves. You should have on Mohammed Furidi in to speak about current Iranian culture. He is former Iranian soldier, met Jesus, escaped, and now smuggles Bibles into Iran. Don't you know him? Have you ever met him? Mohammed Furidi. I think he's.
That is not the correct spelling.
No, it's not.
I think it's with an A, right?
Yeah. You must have met him somewhere. You must have been at some event with him or something.
Let me think.
They beat me in the desert. I should have him on sometime. I chatted with him a long time ago. Adi Wasman, Israel isn't making money. Al-Zut is making millions on Quran fans. True story, bro. This is true.
That would be if someone made an Al-Zut OnlyFans channel, that would be the leading OnlyFans channel in Pakistan.
Have you seen that your superhero Andrew Tate posed with that?
Some
porn, don't say her name. Don't say her name.
I didn't. Some porn chick.
Yeah. Posed with her, and like everybody's talking about it.
No, wait a minute. You mean Andrew Tate, the hero of the Ummah, who's going to save the Ummah?
Yeah.
That guy?
Yeah. The guy who is totally against degeneracy and stuff. Posed or had a conversation, including with some very lewd poses.
Is that why you tweeted Andrew Tate is the definition of filth?
Yes, I did. And I'm proud of that.
We're proud of that.
That's what I tweeted, and I'm proud of that. I stand by it.
We're proud of that. We're proud of that. We're proud of that.
It just backfired on you. John D.
In the desert.
Have you seen Piers Morgan's show today? His opinion keeps on changing like mood swings. He clearly doesn't have a clear picture on the overall conflict. I haven't seen any of him. I don't want to look at it.
I did see him tweeting pretty negatively of Iran. So
he's just switching sides as we speak.
No, I'm just saying that wouldn't be enough to say that he's switching sides, just because he maybe He may be for crushing Iran, but against other things. I don't know.
Wait, he had George Galloway on? What the heck, man? This is disgusting. So what happened here? He had
If this sucked.
He has Naftali Bennett on, and then he has George Galloway on, who is a Russian, Iranian paid traitor.
Campbell to him as Tony Blair. I hope he remembers you if he does get into the Prime Minister's seat. I'm frankly astounded that you did not ask him about the bombing of the Iranian state TV station just a couple of hours ago.
It was very good. The bombing of the Iranian TV station was very good.
The mass murder of tea ladies, technicians. Jingle.
3rd of May, we asked you last time. 3rd of May, you're lying.
Your dick may be bigger
You're
than
lying,
mine.
George.
Your
3rd
dick
of May,
may be bigger than mine.
3rd of May.
What the
Your
heck?
show may
6.5,
be bigger
7
than
weeks
mine.
ago.
But I'll tell you what, Piers, you're a busted flush.
You know what, George? We're about to pass 4 million subscribers on Piers Morgan Uncensored, and you're walking off because you can't handle the heat.
What the heck is this?
What?
Did he just say what I
heck
think?
did I just watch, man? Yes.
Did he say
that guy
what I
repeatedly
think?
said that? Yeah, that guy just repeatedly said your penis may be bigger than mine, but you're a busted flush. He just said that. That's what he talks about during interviews, apparently. Now, Pierce, let me say, your penis may be bigger than mine. You may be able to satisfy a woman better than I could ever hope. Your testosterone may be way higher than mine. You may be a superior man to me in every conceivable way. You may be a better husband, a better father, a better man. I may be a pathetic little weakling, but you're a busted flush. What the heck? Who makes an argument like that, man? What the heck is that?
I really regret having looked at that. I feel like they beat me in the desert. Johnny D says, "Oh yeah, I know. Holy Joe knew a kid named Muhammad in high school last year. Every time I hear Muhammad used for whether the Quran or Momo is the guardian, I always think of him."
You may be more of a man than I am, but remember this: they beat me in the desert, not you.
You may have a bigger wiener than me, but they beat me in the desert. Eunuch Pets, Al-Zut means the anus in my language. That's good. Abraham Hart, why can't Iran go nuclear? Where's your kalb? Sankey, funny how fast we went from if Iran is attacked, Israel will need to be saved, and it's World War III to don't bomb nuclear facilities or the regime will collapse. This is very funny. They were bragging just the other day. Lots of the accounts were like, ha, they clearly underestimated the power of Iran. Iran will show it to the Zionist regime. They will shove the rockets into the butts of the Zionist regime. And now they're like, can somebody please tell Israel to stop? This is so pathetic, man. It's so predictable.
It is. It's also the they're right with all that. If Israel bombs Iran, it will be World War III. Like why? How? How is any battle and how's anything that happens now World War III? I don't.
It's also that apparently Iran is doing significantly worse than Israel actually expected. Apparently, so those are the reports that Israel had, that the Israeli army had reports made assessing a possible war, and where this possible war could lead, how much of Israel would be destroyed in the worst case, how many people in Israel could die in the worst case, and so on. And there were estimates that if it gets really, really bad, which Israel wants to prevent at all cost, between 800 and 4,000 people or something on the Israeli side could be killed by Iran. So they were really expecting something more significant to come from Iran. Right now, Iran is doing a very terrible job.
Well, also, do not underestimate the training and experience of being repeatedly bombed for all these years of, hey, wait a minute, we know exactly where the shelter is. We know exactly when to run to it and so on to minimize casualties and so on. So they've actually been trained by Hamas and Hezbollah for years on how to avoid dying.
We know what we do. Because
I mean, think about that. If a bomb was going off in my area right now, I might jump under the desk or something like that. But other than that, I would have no clue what to do in a situation like this, because we're not used to that. Imagine a situation where a bomb could be flying at you right now, and you're not going to die because you got a place you know exactly where to run, and you've run to it dozens of times. You know the plan. You know the plan. You know the drill.
Nice. This is my second favorite Glenn Greenwood video. Jamie, pull it up. What is this? I don't understand. Oh, that guy is Glenn Greenwood? Okay, nice. Script Kolbe says, I told you Khomeini has no hymen. Ron B, when I was in college in 79, 80 in the US, Iranian students used to hang with us and drink beer just like any other student. Once the revolution happened, they no longer talked to us. Why? Quran verse? I don't think it's about a Quran verse. I don't know what happened there. Pizza joins near Pentagon, now surge in traffic. This is what they say when something really, really important is about to happen. And people are aware that they are supposed to spend lots of times at work. They start ordering lots of food to stay there overnight. But right now, nothing is really happening, I think. Unless there isn't, I haven't heard of it. Are there any breaking news? Are there any nukes landing on us? What's happening? Israel hits Tehran after Trump demands unconditional surrender. Israel hammers Tehran. Israel's hammering Tehran.
Israel's al-zooting Tehran.
Israel is al-zooting. The Thune says Trump is perfectly within his authority on Iran. Escalating conflict. Nobody's escalating conflict, man. Trump and Netanyahu spoke today, had a call, talked to each other. Yeah. Hey, Mr. President. Mr. President. I can do that, man. Can you do it? Can you do a Netanyahu? Can you do a Bibi?
Mr. President.
Yeah, good. Iran experiences major internet
We're protecting you and your administration. If it wasn't for us, the United States would fall.
U.S. officials say that there is no indication that there are any imminent strikes on U.S. sites by Iran.
Well, wait a minute. Didn't they say they would attack us if they were attacked? Didn't they say that?
Well, technically, the U.S. did not so far carry out a direct strike on Iran. So if the Islamic regime did conduct strikes on U.S. facilities, it would be them who attack first.
Yeah, trust me, these guys don't want to throw a rock in the general direction of anything having to do with the U.S. right now.
If they made the stupid mistake right now of giving the U.S. government the opportunity by striking first, things would be very quickly over for them. So I don't think that they want to do that. Although they are kind of very irrational and stupid, so I don't know. What?
Oh, I just wanted to point out that, like, the big picture, because it's easy to lose sight of this. Talking about, the regime and the takeover and what happened in the 70s and so on, and then people drinking beer beforehand. They all zooted me in the desert. What's wrong with you, man? You're encouraging childish jokes. Guys, so what? The Prophet of Islam got his butt banged by a bunch of Pakistani or Indian dudes in the desert. Why is that so funny to everyone?
They zooted him in the desert.
Yes, they zooted him, leaving him all worn out and in pain in his rear end. So why? Why is that something for you to laugh at? Why?
The desert part also makes sense because we're talking about a desert here, right? Anyway, continue. What were you saying?
Oh, I just wanted to point out the big picture, which we've talked about many, many, many times, that after the collapse of the Ottoman Empire fought World War I, lost World War I. Then the Ottoman Empire collapsed. Shias were already weaker, but this sent the Ummah into a kind of panic mode. We've always been really strong. We've always had an empire. We've always had a caliphate. And now Western nations are massively stronger and more powerful than us. We're supposed to take over the world. How is this going to work? What happened? It really, really shook a lot of people's confidence in Islam. It shook a lot of Muslims' confidence in Islam. We're supposed to expand. Islam is supposed to expand until it takes over the world. Now, all of a sudden, it doesn't even look like that's possible. We're too weak. What's going on here? Well, then you had the possible alternative explanation, namely, Allah is punishing you because you're not being devout enough, you're not being forceful enough in imposing Sharia and so on. So maybe it's not because Islam is false. Maybe it's because Allah is punishing you for not being devout enough. So what did you get? That's when you get the Muslim Brotherhood in Sunni Islam, the rise of the Muslim Brotherhood. We have to crack down and impose Sharia, and that's when you get the Iranian revolution as well. That's the Shia version of we have to be more devout and more strict. That's when Allah will bless us to take over the world. Well, what do you want to happen? You want that entire plan to fail so that it's, wait, we tried becoming more devout, more strict. We tried cracking down on all rebellion and we lost. Why? What's your explanation after this? Right? Your explanation for why the Ummah was weak was Allah's punishing us for not being strict enough. Okay, now you've been, the Iranian regime was extremely strict. You can't be more strict than they were. And what happens? If they collapse and then all the Muslim Brotherhood stuff collapses, you're gonna see the end of Islam, guys. There's no alternative theory after this. Those are the alternative theories.
They beat me in the desert. So by the way, since it came up, I do want to quickly address one thing, which is so David just talked about the Ottoman, and
you're gonna pull up pictures of the Ottoman.
What's wrong?
Some people don't think you have proof of the existence of the Ottoman.
So it is in fact
a
thing. So there is this thing called the Ottoman. So many people don't know that, but this is a part of history that is usually that is deliberately hidden by the Turkish cabal that is trying to hide the true history of the Ottomans. So a long time ago, so centuries ago, there were the Ottoman. They look like this. Some of them look like this. But this is a generally more accurate picture. So the Ottoman were these people who were, otters, and who were kind of humanoid otters. They looked like otters, but they were also men, and they were very strong for some reason. I don't know why. But so they came from Asia, and they overran a lot of, European populations, Greek populations, and other populations, and started taking over. It's because they were so strong and they could go into the water and go on land as well, and they were kind of huge. The people who were in the places that they invaded were terrified of them. So when the Ottomans came, it was also very natural that the enemies of the Ottomans were easily defeated by these guys because they were both terrified and weak and overpowered at the same time. So the Ottomans thereby came and defeated, destroyed lots of populations and established the Ottoman Empire.
Hey, and dude, I mean, think, what did it actually take to stop these guys? Vampires.
Yep.
You needed actual vampires to stop these guys.
Exactly.
It's
Exactly. Now think about this. You have a bunch of Ottoman, right? A bunch of men that are half otter, half men, and they are plaguing Europe like this. So here is another image of them. You have these guys going throughout Europe, plaguing the populations, raping them, killing them, humiliating them, and believing in Islam. So this is not even the whole picture. They also like had Islamic tradition and Islamic wear and all that. So this is the history of the Ottomans. Lots of people are trying to suppress these facts, but I think people should be more aware of the Ottoman Empire and the Ottoman history. So yeah, some people still say that they are around.
Yeah, they're basically in hiding now, waiting for the return, waiting for the return.
Well, the thing is, they are shapeshifters. So many of them kind of have kind of adapted, have mixed into the population and have kind of become regular human-looking people, but they are still in essence Ottoman. So this is basically what it is. In fact, as a Turkish person, I wouldn't say that I'm Ottoman myself, but there is quite something about me. Yeah. So anyway, this is the not much known story about the Ottoman. Supreme Leader Ayatollah Daid Hilbillah Woodini says regime change never works. Aputh. Just look at Japan, from samurai to a nation of winglings playing with Gundams and building pet robots. Total fail. This is true. This is true. Very, very true. John West. They beat me on the beaches. They beat me in the fields and in the streets. They beat me in the hills and in the desert. Veritas thoughts on Israel preventing international journalists from freely roaming Gaza. Blunder by Israel, fear of them propagandizing under Hamas threat. Yeah, I think Israel is completely in the wrong for refusing to allow journalists to just go and have fun in Gaza. I think it is, of course, completely expected that if Israel is waging a war against terrorists who are embedding themselves in society, it should be expected that they also invite people from around the world to just visit and to just hang around there, do whatever they want. That's what they should be doing. Yeah, totally. David, what do you think about this?
Yeah, and if you have Hamas, which specializes in using people as human shields in order to guard themselves, you definitely want to bring in as many additional human shields as possible for them. Right.
Exactly. Especially Greta Thunberg. So she should have been allowed in there.
Yeah. So what will Hamas do if you let in thousands of journalists? So they'll just spread the journalists around so that anytime you launch a counterattack against Hamas, you hit some journalists as well. And they go, look, Israel's murdering the journalists to keep them from reporting on what's happening.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Ayatollah Khamenei says Imam Vishika Uv. Huh, interesting. I have no idea what that means, man. MT, did you hear that Netanyahu is the synagogue of Satan and that Jews are not interesting people because they drag us into wars? Candace told me. Let's have a look at that, actually. I forgot about that.
That is. If Candace said it, it's true. That's the rule.
Candace.
Candace Owens. Candace Owens. Candace Owens.
Wait, where's her stupid tweet? I don't care. I can find it right now. I don't care. Sam 1234, dude, no, powerful. After that epic speech by the Crown Prince, I should have said powerful. I apologize. That the Sahih Masri says, I beg you, allow us to march to Palestine. I beg you, for the love of Islam, for the Islamic children, allow us to go to Palestine. Where is your kalb? Where is your heart? They beat me in the desert. Adriel said, "Was that a tear I saw rolling down David's face during Reza's speech? You see, he's weak. You're weak, boy."
Yeah, I was crying.
There's a funny thing. So so David was here when we went to the Orthodox Church that I attend, and we were there in the liturgy, the Sunday service, through the whole thing, and David loved it. Like, he was singing, he was participating, he was like completely moved by it.
Yeah, all 4 hours of it.
Yeah, and at some point, like we're in the middle of it, I'm kind of showing David what we're doing during the service, what we're singing, and all that.
And he's like, "We're on page 7,000 of the thing that we have to read through every time."
Yeah, exactly. And he's like, "Dude, I know. I'm following it perfectly." So he was following the whole thing. He was singing soulfully with all his heart and all his might. But at some point, I'm focused on my own, following the service, reading and singing. Then I look over my shoulder and I see David like completely emotional, overwhelmed by the service and the readings and the music. And then he starts breaking down and crying. And he says, "This is the most beautiful thing I've ever experienced in my entire life." I didn't know until then that David could do that, but yeah, that happened.
And that's when I said, "How can I be baptized into this church?" And they said, "It only takes 57 years. I was like, "Okay, then it's worth it."
Yeah. Goofus, when will Greta march to save the Ayatollah? She should go there. Brave patriotics, Israel still managed to not interrupt the news and help them broadcast the live breaking news. Yeah, indeed, that was very breaking.
That would have been. How awesome would that have been? Breaking news: we're being bombed right now.
Yeah,
that would have been classic, man.
Al-Zut Hole says, Al-Zut fries are Mutter nuggets.
It's called the McMutta. It's called the McMutta.
McMutta. Rock a day, Johnny. Ayatollah was a DEI hire. Sankey, even if disarmed Iran became another Mideast dictatorship, how would that be worse for the U.S. West than expansionist Islamists with ICBMs and nukes? I know this. It's ridiculously stupid. And yeah, even if that was the case, that wouldn't be worse than what we have right now. However, once again, Iran is not like that. And I hope that the people of Iran can get what they have been wanting, what they have been asking for, and I hope they can overthrow this insane death cult called the Islamic regime of Iran and can finally make Iran great, because I want to go on vacation in Iran. Ash McElroy said, I would love to prove I'm Indian. Being on the stream with you guys, gosh, that's like a huge honor. I'm a big fan. Thank you. I appreciate that. Maybe one day you should do that. Derek Perry says, can the mullahs do us a favor and clean the Temple Mount? AF Iron, go to Sunnah 2, not Sunnah. Type keyword female donkey. You're welcome. The 2 is important in the Sunnah 2. Then have a fun with the other keywords. What is Sunnah 2? Is there such a thing?
Yeah, it's a different site. That's where we've got the that's where I linked to the Al-Zut story. I don't know what else they have on the Sunnah 2.
Well, this is funny. I just went on sunnah2.com and searched for female donkey, and it said this site can provide a secure connection. What is this page, man? Nope, doesn't work. Holy Joe, Sahib Muslim 2922, but replace every instance of Jew with the Wingeling and replace Muslims with the Woodians. Oh, yeah. Muslim 2922. So Sahih Muslim 2922 says the last hour would not come unless the Dawoodians fight against the Wingelings, and the Dawoodians would kill them until the Wingelings would hide themselves behind a stone or a tree, and a stone or a tree would say, Dawoodian, servant of Allah, there is a Wingeling behind me, come and kill him. But the tree Kargat would not say, for it is the tree of the Wingelings. Huh, interesting. I didn't know about that hadith.
I got some pretty creepy search results for female donkey on
Really?
Sunday too.
Want to share it?
Do you have desire for females? Donkey afore the prophet spoke to him, I was hoping you would ride me, lineage, Jewish man, stumble star back. What is this? Then Tabari, you have sex with me at night and ride me during the day. Yusha, mighty giants, Jabara, cursed children of Israel, angel Balaam.
Are you reading?
I can't even read the first one. Shall I not give thanks to Allah for a penis that can make a donkey fart? What is this?
All right. I think we have enough of that.
I'm getting some weird stuff here.
Any news here? Let me see. Nothing happening. Mahir Tusi. Let me see what Mahir Tusi says. Mahir Tusi. High frequency radio chatter suggests 2 USAF B-2 stealth bombers are currently airborne. Okay.
This is literally World War III.
I hope so. I was getting bored. If people from the Middle West are pillbillies, would Islamists from there be pilljadis? Also, thoughts on Lord Miles. I think he's a China shill. I have no idea who or what Lord Miles is. Who's Lord Miles? I have no idea who or what and what Lord Miles is. No idea who that is. Who calls himself Lord Miles? Rackaday Johnny says Ayatollah was a DEA hire. Toasted says, since Jake chickened out, would you debate Ryan Dawson? He's just as disgusting as Jake, and I'd love to see you destroy him. Yeah, I would.
Ryan Dawson, is that the guy who was getting paid by Tate? Was
Yeah.
that a different guy? That's
Yeah,
Ryan Dawson.
That's Ryan Dawson. He was exposed as no, he actually admitted that he received payment from Andrew Tate to publicly defend him. I would totally do that. The guy's a lunatic as well. Rockaday Johnny, Salman Rushdie just issued a fatwa on the Ayatollah. Oh, nice. Sketch therapy. I thought Prince of Persia was a game, but it's Reza. It is. But what do you mean username? Says Muhammad. They beat me in the desert. Abdullah, it was an ass beating, all right. Yeah. Gary Smith, Tusi TV has latest on Iran. Cool. Hyperactive, the AK Crusader. Hi, where did you find the Ali Khamenei AI speech? That was funny. I don't know, it's somewhere. Just look for it. Khamenei AI. Search for it on Twitter. You'll find it. Darkwing. Israel closed the mosque on the Mount, remodeling. Nice. Ibn Mas'ud. Muhammad is guarded. Al-Zud, you bet it is. It is outnumbered 80-1. Draw your own conclusions. No, I'm MKW. There's a South Park episode about atheists and Ottoman. I don't believe you. I tell you how many Ottomans are less hairy than modern day Turks.
That's true.
That's pretty messed up. Going on his bulldozer. If I was shaved, he'd look like a World War II Jap. You can't say Jap, man. That's racist. What's wrong with you? Skip Colby says they beat me in the desert as he gets whipped by a group of Bedouin boy. LOL. Jack Ray says, do the Ottoman hide out with the Turkeymen? No, the Turkeymen are actually the descendants of the Ottoman. Ari Wasserman, more job. If you look at just the Quran, you will get the indication that you can do Nikah Zuta. Zuta. With a, yeah, that's true. Rockaday Johnny, the Ottoman eat otter pops. They do, yes. Gwyneth Isaacs, Ottoman were defeated by Aussies at Beersheba. This is true. This is actually what happened historically. Nurse loves coffee. I've heard vamps can't enter holy ground. Can Ottoman? On the other hand, the Ottoman are super cute when they sleep holding hands in the water. Yeah, this is true. But they can do all of those things. MT David, why is there an X-Acto knife on your face?
There isn't. Why are you making things up?
Yeah, I don't see any knife here. What's wrong? Why are you lying? Why are you lying?
Some people are liars.
Liar! You're a liar!
Radical cleric, there's a guy in my church that has bought into the idea that Israel is murdering and starving babies in Gaza and Pali. Have any sources to disprove?
Look, you're the burden of proof would not be on you. The burden of proof would be on him.
Yeah. And if he's going to bring stuff like, oh, look at this tweet, this person says it, why do they say it? That doesn't count. Ain't no starvation, ain't no starving babies, ain't no murdering babies or anything like that happening. Sketch therapy, June 1462, Vlad Dracul, 3rd Al-Zutid, 23,884 Ottoman with 10-foot wooden stakes with rounded tops for extending life as much as possible. How many did he actually kill, man? There's so much legend about him. I don't even know what is true and what is not true.
A buttload. You remember those Ottoman invaded, and like the entire highway for like hundreds of miles was lined with bodies on stakes, and they just turned around and left.
Yes, but they later came on and actually defeated him. So
they didn't defeat Dracula, man.
Well, they defeated him, but then he actually escaped, and he still continues on to this day to suck the blood of people. Let's see. Gorno's bulldozer Lord Miles said China should invade Taiwan because Taiwan supports gay rights. He also hates Jews and Indians. Also, is my Ali statement wrong? I don't know what Ali statement you mean. Well, I still have no idea who Lord Miles is, but I also really wait, what? He said China should invade Taiwan because Taiwan supports gay rights. Okay. That's funny. Oh, yeah, you're right. So Vlad the Impaler killed over 20,000 Ottoman soldiers, including during his famous night attack at Dragoviste. According to the letter Matthias Corvinus, he claimed to have killed over 23,000 Turks in total, including soldiers and civilians. Ottoman chroniclers, including Tursun Bey, confirmed large-scale massacres by Vlad, including the infamous Forest of the Impaled, with thousands of Turkish corpses near Targoviste. So the total rough estimate of deaths ranges between 20 to 25,000 Ottomans killed by Vlad the Impaler during his lifetime. Dude. I mean, I don't want to say it, but it's pretty badass, It's no surprise that this guy became such a legend,
Yeah, it's crazy. Like in lots of places, he's viewed as like a weird vampire associated dude and so on. Out in Eastern Europe, they still view him as a hero who saved them from an Ottoman invasion.
Well, I mean, he still later on lost it, and they still kind of captured him and killed him, or exiled him, or imprisoned him. But here you have the picture. So you have this guy killing 20,000 of these people. It's pretty messed up, man. So this guy comes and kills 23,000 of these guys. That's pretty messed up. Pretty messed up. Here you go. This guy killing a bunch of these guys here. Whoom. So this guy comes, 20,000 of these people come, of these Ottoman come, and he kills them all. That's pretty brutal. Vlad the Chad. All right, David, anything else?
Just reading about Vlad here.
I'm going to quickly check the most recent breaking news. Let me see if anybody else said something. Israel, Tehran, Israel. Huge explosions reported in Tehran within the last hour. Be dang. Imam Hussein Institute, something bombed. Here is one scene from Tehran. That looks nice. They said, "Good morning, Tehran." So, yeah. Anyway, thanks everybody for watching. This was one of the shorter live streams, but we will be live again. I guess tomorrow is Robert Spencer Day, isn't it?
No, he's doing something else tomorrow.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Oh,
That's
hey.
I might review that actually.
Bob the Builder wanted to go live with us at 3 tomorrow. Does that work?
Yes.
3 tomorrow with Bob the Builder?
Yes.
He wants to talk about how Christianity can save the world or something like that.
Let's do it.
All right, guys, for you Europeans, we'll be live tomorrow with Bob from Speaker's Corner at 3 o'clock Eastern Time.
Yes. All right, man. All right. Thanks everybody for watching. Thanks everybody for watching. As always, remember the Ottoman. Until then, which roughly translates to the following. What the heck? Where did my stuff go, man? Oh, I can't even pull it up. Anyway, you know what it says. It says, "Stay away from Islam."